So a video about plotting points for rational functions. So this is from homework 15, section 3.5. Problem number 14 that I have, yours may be a little bit different, but same structure, is f of x equals 7x divided by x minus 4. We have these different x values that we need to take turns plugging in for these x's to generate points. So for the first problem, I'm just going to insert -6 here and here. I'll work down. So this is going to be -42 on top, and then it's also going to be -10 in the denominator. And I believe MyMathLab wants you to report your answer as an integer or a simplified fraction. Well, this would not result in an integer if we divided, so we're going to make a simplified fraction. So continuing simplifying, a negative divided by a negative is positive. 42 and 10 share a common factor of 2, so I could divide a 2 out from both numerator and denominator. I'm going to get 21 over 5. I would take another look at 21 and 5. They don't share a common factor, so that's going to be the answer that goes in that square on MyMathLab. Same thing with -4. Now let's plug it in here. So 7 times -4 is -28, divided by -4 minus 4, which is -8. Again, negative divided by negative is positive. 28 and 8 have a common factor of 2. I could start with 2, but they also have a common factor of 4. So 4 divides into 28 7 times, and 4 divides into 8 twice. 7 and 7 halves doesn't reduce any further, so that would be the answer that would be entered. Okay. And same thing, just continue with the 3, the 5, and the 6. I wanted to look at 15 too, because 15 probably is going to require the calculator, and on the calculator we need to be kind of careful about how we enter things. All right, so for my 15, I have this function right here. Yours may be similar. Maybe these numbers are changed just slightly. All right, let's plug in -4. So 6 times -4 squared over -4. Don't forget the squares on the outside of the -4. Minus 4. You can go to your calculator. Just make sure that you're doing -4 squared first. That will result in 16. 16 times 6 is 96. And then -4 squared, again, is positive 16. 16 minus 4 is 12. And then from here, we just have to see if we can simplify. First thing I would do is I would take 96 and divide it by 12 on my calculator. And it does work out to be a nice integer, so we're finished. If the calculator returned a decimal, then I would just go back to this fraction and try and simplify. Okay, and I want to point out too with the calculator, because sometimes this is an error. Okay, let me go back to right here. Okay, if I want to enter this into the calculator, the way I see it, I'm going to do 6 times... not minus, but negative. Let me come back here and choose the negative. -4. The square goes on the outside. On this calculator, I think I'm going to have to do the raised to squared. Now, if I wanted to go here and do the fraction bar and do division, I'm dividing now. Now I'm into the denominator. Make sure we need an extra set of parentheses to enclose everything in the denominator. So immediately do an open parentheses, then do another parentheses for the -4. Close that parenthesis, square -4, and then go to the minus, and then go to the 4, but don't forget we need another closing parentheses. So you have this additional set of parentheses in the denominator. It's not important to have parentheses in the numerator, it's just that after the division symbol, it's important to enclose the entire denominator in another set of parentheses. Okay, and that will return 8. Okay, again, if I did not get an integer here, then I probably would just go back and look at each individual part of this fraction. I'd look at the numerator, denominator, get a fraction here, and then try and simplify. Okay, be careful with the fractions here that you put in. So you're going to have 6 times -1/2 squared over -1/2 squared minus 4. So we'll kind of simplify that, because that's usually where we kind of get hung up. If you can do this mentally, that's great. If not, you can go to your calculator. I'd probably just perform the numerator first. And it's, what is it, -1/2 squared? So -1 divided by 2, close that parenthesis, and then square. I might just press enter here, and I get 1.5. It's a little bit ugly, but I have 1.5 here all over. And now let me go to the denominator. And so since I'm doing the denominator separately and not the whole computations together, I don't need that open parentheses there because I'm just focusing on the denominator, -4. And so I get -3.75. All right. So this is not an integer, but MyMathLab probably will not take this answer this way. So we need to do a simplified fraction for this. So let's see if my calculator would do that. So 1.5 divided by, and you could do an open parenthesis here if you want, but it's not necessary because you're only putting in one number. Let's see what this gives us. So I get -0.4 as an answer. Well, they still don't want that. They want an integer or a simplified fraction. But we know that -4/10 can be rewritten as a fraction, -4/10 this way. But then looking at this fraction, I have a common factor of 2 that can be divided out. So -2/5 would be the answer that should be put into that little cell. It's a little tricky when you do the fractions. You got to do a lot more work to kind of get down to what my MyMathLab requests. And I get that. Well, I hope this helps. And if not, just let me know.